Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins in the near-future New Orleans. A cargo ship Genesis brings with it a mysterious payload. As containers are swiftly unloaded at the port, a clandestine group unloads a unique pill power that grants superpowers for a fleeting 5 minutes. Biggie, a man with dubious intentions, orchestrates the distribution of these pills among drug dealers, turning the city into a hotbed of superhuman abilities. Amid this chaos, Robin Riley, a young drug dealer, finds herself entangled in a perilous deal gone awry. Teenagers attempt to steal the coveted power pills from her, prompting the timely intervention of Frank Shaver, a police officer and a longtime friend of Robin. Frank not only saves her from the unruly group, but also confiscates one of the pills, recognizing the dangers they pose. Realizing the need to protect the city from the perils of these, Frank shares cautionary tales about their side effects, dissuading potential users. He orchestrates a fake arrest of Robin, preventing the teenagers from taking them. In a surprising turn, Frank not only frees Robin but also rewards her with the agreed-upon sum, and an unexpected birthday gift, a used motorcycle. As the city grapples with the repercussions of the power pills, a new player named Art enters the scene, seeking to purchase large quantities. His inquiries lead him to Newt, a cautious dealer, who, fearing exposure, ingests a pill to gain superpowers. A confrontation ensues, with Art realizing he is outmatched and opting to flee. In a desperate bid to extract information, Art exploits Newt's vulnerability to water, and learns about the pill's source, Biggie. However, Newt's overdose halts the revelation, leaving Art with only a name. Despite the setback, Art begins a quest to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Robin, living with her ailing mother, navigates the challenges of her daily life. Concerned about her cousin Newt after a fire incident, she reassures her worried mother and heads to school on the motorbike gifted by Frank. As the city's superhuman saga unfolds, Frank and his colleague Landry find themselves in the midst of a bank robbery. Suspecting superpowers at play, Frank defies orders, and consumes a power pill to confront the invisible and camouflaging bank robber, Griff. In a shocking turn of events, Griff manages to shoot Frank in the head, only for the hero to miraculously survive due to the bulletproof qualities bestowed by the power pill. Despite the protective effects, Frank bears the brunt of Griff's assault, surviving with diminished vulnerability. Rushing to subdue Griff before the pill's effects wane, he finds himself facing disciplinary action from Captain Crane, who is dissatisfied with his defiance of orders. In a heated exchange, Frank defends his actions, expressing frustration with the enigmatic men in black suits, who always take control of power pill-related cases. He implores Crane to prioritize the safety of New Orleans citizens, and proposes a collaborative effort to curb the pill's distribution without succumbing to external influence. Crane, unfazed, presents Frank with a picture of Art, claiming he is the power pill dealer. To halt the pill's distribution, Frank has to apprehend Art. Meanwhile, using Newt's phone to find Robin, Art waits for her at a diner. Robin, on her way home, discovers her slashed motorbike tires and falls prey to Art's ambush. Forced into his car, Robin becomes the target of interrogation about Biggie. Desperate to extract information, he threatens violence unless she reveals Biggie's identity. In a plea for help, Robin discreetly messages Frank. Elsewhere, Biggie briefs his superior, Dr. Gardner, about an impending power pill demonstration, for a potential investor linked to South American cartels. Failing to glean information from Robin, Art instructs her to call the operator who connected Newt with the power pill supplier. Upon contacting the operator, she is directed to a supermarket, where she is tasked with mentioning a password to identify herself. As Art observes from a distance, she navigates the supermarket, seeking intel on the supplier. Unfortunately, a distraction leads Art to lose sight of her. In a hidden room at the supermarket, Robin encounters Guello, who questions her about the operator's number provided by Newt. Learning of Newt's demise, Guello probes for details, leading to Robin revealing Art's involvement. In a swift move, Guello ingests a power pill, preparing for a confrontation with Art. As Art seeks Robin, he crosses paths with Guello, sparking a fierce battle. Despite the struggle, Art manages to overcome Guello. Meanwhile, Robin, concealed in a truck container, signals the driver to stop when the confrontation erupts. The driver intervenes, injuring Art, but the resilient dealer retaliates, killing the driver. Within the container, Art and Robin discover a computer, disclosing the locations of power pills distributed across the city. Art reveals the illegal distribution, using unsuspecting residents as test subjects for government-banned drugs. Informed of Biggie and Gardner's plans for a power pill demonstration, he urges her to lead him to the location. However, she flees, and Guello, despite severe injuries, accuses her of conspiring with Art. In a fierce confrontation, Guello attacks her, but Art intervenes just in time to save her. He incapacitates Guello to ensure there is no further threat. Despite his injuries, Art pleads for Robin's assistance, sharing money and disclosing his quest to find his daughter. Suspicious initially, she agrees to help upon learning the truth about Newt's overdose. She takes the wounded Art to a veterinary clinic for much-needed treatment. In the midst of the unfolding events, Frank, prompted by a text message from Robin, heads to her house to check on Mrs. Riley's condition. As he approaches, he notices two men in black suits interrogating Robin's mother about her whereabouts. To intervene, Frank sneaks into the house through a window, posing as Mrs. Riley's lover. He cleverly chases the men away, pretending to film them, threatening to expose their actions on social media. To keep track of the mysterious men, Frank discreetly attaches Mrs. Riley's GPS-enabled phone to their car. Meanwhile, after treating his wounds, Art asks Robin about her experience with power pills. She reveals she has never taken one, having witnessed someone overdose and explode from the pills. He questions why she became a drug dealer in high school, and she explains it was to cover her diabetic mother's medical expenses, due to the lack of health insurance. Art plans to continue the search for Biggie alone, but Robin insists on joining him. She offers assistance in finding Art's daughter, Tracy, but asks for $10,000 to cover her mother's medical expenses. After negotiation, they agree Art would pay $5,000 to Robin if they find Tracy. During their journey, he discloses his past as a soldier experimented on by a company called Telios, aiming to grant him superpowers. He recounts the horror of taking a power pill and losing control, resulting in the deaths of many people. Years later, Tracy was born, showing signs of having superpowers without the need for pills. Telios sent men in black suits to kidnap Tracy for experimentation. Arriving at the location where Biggie plans to demonstrate the power pill, Art instructs Robin to wait outside, while he infiltrates the premises. He manages to take down a guard, disguise himself as an employee, and enter a secret meeting, where Biggie explains the power pills to a potential investor named Rose. Biggie proposes developing permanent superpowers if Rose invests. Simultaneously, Frank, who has been following the men in black suits, encounters Robin. Inquiring about Art, Frank intends to arrest him. She defends Art, sharing his story about saving his daughter. However, Frank remains skeptical, thinking Art has manipulated Robin. Inside the demonstration, Biggie showcases the power pill, having a woman named Candy take it. Candy gains the ability to regulate her body and surroundings to extremely low temperatures. Biggie tries to convince Rose about the pill's uniqueness. Meanwhile, Art approaches Biggie with a gun, taking him hostage. As Rose and her henchmen attempt to escape with the suitcase of power pills, chaos erupts. One of Biggie's men takes a power pill, but his body explodes, adding to the turmoil. The shootout damages the temperature control in the tank, leading to Candy's death, as her body freezes. After successfully taking down Biggie, Art interrogates him for information about Gardner. Initially resistant, Biggie's hand is shot, forcing him to talk. Biggie reveals that Gardner, head of Project Power, is on a cargo ship named Genesis. Frank, arriving to check on the situation, confronts Art at gunpoint. Amidst their argument, seizing an opportunity, Biggie takes a power pill that grants him size and strength. Art and Frank rush to escape, while Robin, worried about them, tries to save them. In an attempt to defeat the giant Biggie, Art shoots gas cylinders, causing an explosion that kills Biggie. Outside the chaos, Frank handcuffs Art, intending to hand him over to his captain. Ignoring Robin's pleas, Frank remains focused on arresting him. Art, however, reveals Telios' manipulation of the captain, suggesting a bribe. He shares that Telios had experimented on his daughter, Tracy, the source of the drug's powers, and would kill anyone who discovers the truth, and the power epidemic is mass testing to stabilize the drug. Choosing to trust Art, Frank rushes to escape before the men in black suits arrive. Shortly after, armed men surround Frank's car, finding Art arrested, but no sign of Frank. Meanwhile, Robin, following the men in black suits, reaches a dock, and sees them boarding the cargo ship Genesis. Frank intercepts Robin, urging her to go home, but she insists on helping. He instructs her to scout the docks, while he devises a plan to infiltrate the cargo ship. Unbeknownst to her, he has taken a power pill, becoming immune to bullets. Robin, following the ship's movement through the CCTV camera, witnesses Frank being taken to a detention room. Frank, planning to rescue Art, enlists Robin's guidance from the control room, who accidentally discovers Tracy's location, and decides to rescue her. In a hallway, Frank encounters one of Gardner's men, empowered by a power pill. Robin, unable to communicate clearly, uses the ship's microphone, alerting Gardner to their presence. Frank defeats his opponent and takes a power pill, gaining immunity to bullets again. Gardner orders the ship to sail, sending her henchman Wallace to capture Robin. Robin manages to escape the control room just as Wallace arrives. Art, convincing one of Wallace's men to untie him, threatening to take a power pill if he is not freed. After freeing, Art faces Wallace, and just as Wallace is about to attack, Frank intervenes. Art takes advantage of the situation, grabbing Frank's weapon and killing Wallace. Robin, in the meantime, rescues Tracy, bringing her to the bow of the ship, for a heartfelt reunion with Art. As they attempt to escape, Gardner's henchman, Knife Bones, intercepts them, fueled by a power pill. Art orders Frank to protect Tracy and Robin, while he faces Knife Bones, who he kills successfully, but Robin, unable to catch up, is captured. Gardner threatens to kill Robin, unless Art hands over Tracy. In a desperate move, Art swallows a power pill. With a unique ability inherited from a pistol shrimp, he generates powerful heat waves. He defeats everyone, but suffers severe injuries. Tracy, displaying the power to heal, saves her father. In the aftermath, they all escape from the ship using a lifeboat. The next day, Frank plans to expose Project Power to the press, while Art decides to move on. He gives Robin his truck, and a bag of money for her mother's medical needs, encouraging her to use the strength within her. Art and Tracy depart, finally free. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.